Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Manino and Nareman Hamdan, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nareman Hamdan, and this is Driven Unscripted Success podcast. You can follow us and like us on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. We've got an awesome guest on today. We have Wesley Rowlands, and Wesley has been in the finance industry for over 20 years. He helps business owners build long-term net worth through strategic investing and disciplined financial planning. He has nearly 20 years plus of experience across Wall Street, consulting, and private wealth management. He specializes in translating complex financial strategies into clear, actionable guidance that supports sustainable wealth growth. How you doing, Wes?
Doing great. Ready to rock and roll.
All right. So why don't you kick things off by giving us a quick snapshot of your business right now, what you do, and what your company does?
So super high level, we manage about $630-ish million in public securities, so investments, and then advise on real estate transactions and private business transactions. And most of our clients are business owners. And yeah, that's it. Super love what I do. Very grateful for it. Super passionate about it. Grew up poor, raised by a single mom, all of the above. And as Jeff Bezos said, it's such a blessing to be able to skip into work every day because you love it.
Absolutely. So why don't you, when you think back, are there any moments that you'd say really changed the game for your career?
Yeah, when I was 11, we got another eviction call, and I overheard the conversation with my mother. And this was after many occasions of getting lights turned off, all the above. And my mom was just an outstanding human. My dad left when I was 4, and my mother only made $9 an hour. So that literally changed the rest of my life. I immediately went out, asked my mom if I could get a job. She said yes, to her credit, not because she wanted support, but because she wanted me to learn and earn the skills of a man. So nobody would hire me. I knocked on every single business's door. Apparently there's child labor laws that got in the way of that. But I fibbed. I went to the golf course on the rich side of town, and I said, "Hey, my dad is a golfer here," and they just never checked. And they said, "Sure, you can be a caddy." And showed up to be a caddy the next day. Nobody picked me for several weeks. And my mother, to her credit, she'd wake up at 3:45 in the morning, drive me all the way across town, and then drop me off. And then she'd drive all the way back to the Philadelphia International Airport, where she's a ticket agent, still is to this day. But nobody would pick me. I didn't realize that caddying, you didn't make money unless you were selected by a golfer. So I had the really good fortune of being stuck there, so I couldn't leave until my mom came and picked me back up after work, which was great. And I say that sincerely, because I didn't get picked. So I got to learn every single day, hey, you have to produce value to make money. So if nobody selects you in the marketplace to produce value, because probably you're unable to if you're new, then you might have to figure out how to scrap your way there or get lucky. I did both. I noticed that one time a golfer drove into the parking lot in this teal blue Thunderbird car, and this other caddy ran over to him and said, "Hey, Uncle Rick, can I wash your clubs?" And Uncle Rick said yes. And this caddy proceeded to pull the clubs out of his trunk, and he washed the clubs. Here's the crazy thing. They were already clean, which still to this day is bananas to me. And then Uncle Rick gave this kid $5. And I was like, oh, I think it's weird. I don't see value in cleaning something that's already been cleaned. I'm also not sure how I feel about cleaning golf clubs anyway. We're about to go and hit stuff in the grass. Anyway. But that's where you learn. It's like, it doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what the market wants. So none of the caddies liked me anyway, because I was 11. They were all 16 to 18 years old. So I was like half their size. So I just then sat by the gate every single morning. It was like, well, every single car that pulled in was like, "Can I wash your clubs? Can I wash your clubs? Can I wash your clubs?" And almost all of them said yes. So I started making $3, $4, $5 every single car that came in. That's actually, to an 11-year-old, that was really good money, because when you're not selected the whole day, that's like a good 9 hours of just $3 to $5 transactions.
Sure.
But then good fortune happened again, and it rained one time. So none of the caddies really wanted to be there, but it's like almost all their fathers were making them be there.
Sure.
So it rained. So at the first excuse they could get, always, they were out. They left. So they all left when it rained. I couldn't leave because my mother was not there to pick me up. And this was in the morning. So I grew up on the East Coast in Philadelphia, and oftentimes it will rain and then it stops raining. So it stopped raining 2 hours later. And this was the best thing ever because then none of the caddies showed back up because they had already had the excuse, oh, the weather's bad, so we're out. But then all the golfers showed up because they didn't want to be with their wives that day. So I got to learn about all this
Sure.
stuff. So they all show back up, and it was still hilarious because you have this abundant supply of golfers and all this demand, and then only one caddy, which was me, and it still took them time to be like, "Ah, maybe we'll take the cart today." So, but then one golfer said, "Okay, we'll take you." I messed up easily 50 times on that first game. I had no idea what I was doing. But at the end of the game, which I was convinced I was going to make $0, he gave me $60. And I was like, oh shit. Like, as long as you just try your best. And if you're
Yeah.
new, people tend to have mercy on you anyway. And I was young and I was like, I can make $60. This is crazy. So then start develop my name for myself because I paid attention to the rules. Number one rule of caddying is do not speak unless spoken to and work your face off and just serve. And I got the best of all of it because I got to make money. I got to listen to these very successful people and all they talked
Yes.
about was investing and money, et cetera. That's where I got the seed of, oh, these people are happy. And I have a lot of pain around this. This is why I'm here around money. I'm just going to go do the things that they say. So that's where the seed got planted. Yeah.
That's fantastic. What a great story. So, everyone hits a bump in the road every now and then. Can you share a time things didn't pan out and how you got through it?
Oh, like, there was almost no smoothness. So it was all bumps. In that story alone, there's 10 different.
Right.
I figured out a formula a long time ago, and I try to simplify things down as simple as possible. And I learned this formula, and I probably repeat it to myself at least once a week. So the way that you win is through, in my opinion, volume. If I had to put one word to it, it's just volume. Out volume everything. Now, but we need distinction in volume. I like math, so let's think of this as an equation. V equals, right? So volume equals, how do you break it down? So it's actually pragmatically actionable. If I were to break volume down, it's you got to do the right things the right way for the right amount of time. Now, time being expressed as a function of duration and frequency. And then I score myself on those things. So anytime I'm having a pity party of, oh, I'm not getting the results that I want, I am firmly convinced that you can learn anything. You can acquire any skill.
Absolutely.
And also, by
Absolutely.
the way, I do think you can be world class at anything. And Tim Ferriss kind of gave this idea. I'm not saying that you're going to be the best in the NBA if you're 4'5". I'm not saying that. But I do think because oftentimes people think, oh, I want to be the best in the world. It's like, that's so you want to be one out of what, 7 billion? That is what would you, and you probably don't even mean that most likely. What you probably mean is you want to be world class or the best in your city. This is way easier. This is
It's much more
way like
achievable.
it is infinitely more. And by the way, it is infinitely achievable, right? Because most people do not spend any real time on basically anything. Like even their
Right.
careers, which that's what they spend their most time on, but they're almost like sleepwalking through it. And I don't say that as a derogatory thing. It's just most people are not intentional. Life is hard. I get it, right? There's a million things pulling your distraction. So if you can be the guy or woman who's saying, no, I'm going to pick my 5 games and I'm gonna ruthlessly subtract anything out of my life that has nothing to do with those 5 games. Now I have all of my time to focus on those 5 activities. Now,
Absolutely.
do the right things the right way for the right amount of time. So, what are the right things? If we use a basketball analogy, if I am shooting a basketball underhand, you don't have to know basketball to know that's probably not right. So it's like I'm not even doing the right thing. So a good coach would say, okay, no, shoot it overhand, and that's how you increase the probability of scoring a basket. It's okay, great. So now I'm going to do the right things. But then if my elbow's all the way out here, you're going to say as a basketball coach, no, you're doing the right thing, but you're doing it the wrong way. So you got to do the
Right.
right things the right way. Get the elbow under the basketball. And then I said, okay, great. So now I'm doing it, and I made a shot like that. Why am I not Michael Jordan? And you're going to say, because you didn't put enough time into it. And so, hey, but I started basketball 10 years ago. It's like, okay, yeah, no, you bought a basketball 10 years ago. You've picked
Right.
it up twice, right? So time is not a measure of progress, right? Progress is a measure of progress. So we have to fill that time with density. Michael Jordan practiced every single day. So that 10 years is an illusion to you. Just because you bought a basketball 10 years ago does not mean that's very different than you played basketball 4 times a day for that 10 years. So do the right things, do them the right way, do them for the right amount of time, being expressed as duration and frequency.
Absolutely. So what's a skill or habit you think doesn't get enough credit for contributing to your success?
Sales. Sales, I think, in finance and in other, let's call them like snooty majors in college, engineering, etc., computer science, there tends to be a looking down, a condescension on sales, when in reality, it's the exact opposite. I'm convinced that my conspiracy on this is because humans are social creatures and we just are so opposed to rejection. If you get enough people who are like that, which is basically everybody, then they will say, okay, we agree here, right? We don't want to get rejected. So let's just talk shit on sales, right? It's no different than men and dancing in America. I grew up in Philadelphia. So other cultures dance the men dance all the time. I love dancing. I started taking dance lessons a decade and a half ago, and it's outstandingly fun. But from where I grew up,
Yeah.
right? They're like,
Men
oh,
don't
dancing's
dance in
for
Philly.
yeah, dancing's
Right.
for girls. Oh no, just you can't do it. Right? Because when you were a baby, when I played music, you were like bopping all around. It's like, oh, this is fun. But somebody along the line said, oh, you look weird, so you stopped. And then if enough of you get together, you're like, oh no, let's just put some propaganda out there that dancing's not fun. It's like that's way different. You're just not good at the thing. Go and try the thing and you'll find that it's fun. Sales is the same exact way. So many people are just so scared of it. They're like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm too good for sales. That's not the thing. It's like, guess what? Nothing happens without sales. Also, guess what? I work with a lot of ultra high net worth clients and people. Almost all of them, this is a dirty little secret. I'm serious. Almost all of them are from a sales background. Almost
Yeah,
all of them. They started out in
absolutely.
sales and then they started their own company and then they filled in the back end operations because there's way more supply of people that can do back end operations, way less supply of people who can actually get the deal done.
Absolutely. So I'm sure leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style? And can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
Yeah, number one, extreme action on my side always. And I don't say this as some sort of weird humble brag or badge of honor. I think if my team were in here telling you, they would say, Wes is a psycho. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And that's always been the case. That, in my opinion, sets the tone and the foundation for every other leadership thing after it. Because then when I practice extreme vulnerability and extreme requests of my team, they can fall back on it. Oh, he's not asking us to do something that is foreign to him. So that can be like inspiring. Have you ever seen the movie Braveheart?
Yes.
Okay. So I love war movies like that, especially like old school war movies
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, there's the dude leading from the front. He is risking his life. Literally, he's the tip of the spear. And I'll pivot to another war movie. You're probably getting some insight into my psychology here, but the movie 300. Have you ever seen the movie 300?
I have not.
Okay, outstanding movie. I literally have it on my calendar every year to watch it. So I have an annual holiday with myself, for myself, to watch that movie. And I hit it every single time. King Leonidas, who's the famous leader of the famous 300 Spartan story, who fought against the Persians, the many thousands of Persians, right? Xerxes, who is the opposing king, he has a meeting with King Leonidas. And in this scene, Xerxes talks about how he's killed one of his own men. And he basically says to King Leonidas, and I'm probably getting this wrong, the exact wording, but he said, if that's what I'm willing to do to my own men, imagine what I'm willing to do to you. Imagine what I'm willing to do if I'm happy to kill any of my own team. And then King Leonidas goes back to him. He's like, imagine what my men essentially are willing to do for me when I am willing to die for them. So it is the exact
Mhm.
opposite. So my team knows my blood's on the line forever and
Yeah,
always. So when I
absolutely.
ask them, so they look at that And what I would say is they're inspired by that.
Yeah,
And
for
I'm
sure.
inspired by them because they step up. So it's reciprocal determinism.
Yeah, it makes them actually feel like it's their that they have a stake in the company, you know,
100%.
working for you and because they're working with you. So that's pretty cool. So when you're building your dream team, what's the one trait you always look for and why?
Hunger, period. Like that's it. Hunger solves for basically everything, in my opinion. We have enough spots on the team where I can calibrate, okay, that person right now has a rookie level skill set. That's okay, but they're hungry, right? So I can get them to escalate up the chain if they're hungry. But if they've got a great skill set and they're not hungry, no chance. We get them off the team pretty quickly.
Got it. So how do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table?
One of the first conversations I have with them is if you are not failing at a certain frequency, then I think you're not trying hard enough or you're not going fast enough. And I tell them, hey, this is a meritocracy here, including for me. So if you're not failing at a certain rate, that tells me you're not going fast enough or you're not taking a certain amount of risk, like professional risk in here. That's not a good thing. So set the tone pretty
Right.
quickly. Then I also say, hey, also, I give you full permission to, if you ever notice negative energy from me on a failure, I give you permission to call me out and remind me of this conversation of, hey, Wes, no, remember, you said you want me to fail, but now you're punishing me for the thing that you asked for. So I give them the script and everything. I've never had
Hmm.
anybody had to do it because I know that I'll be accountable to it. And that helps a ton. It just helps a ton. So now they're like, oh, this is different. How many times have they ever walked into another company? And that was the first, actually, it's the second conversation that I have with them. The first conversation is, I want you to build a presentation of your personal goals, and I want you to present them to me and the rest of the team. And I don't want the bullshit of your goals for the company. I'm not dumb. I want to know how you want to accomplish the things for you and your family. And they've never
Right.
had that. There are no employers that have ever done that, to my knowledge, for
Yeah.
them. So now I know what's important to them. And then they now have my permission to go fast and break stuff. And then honestly, the rapport is set from there and we build on top of it.
Yeah. And I do agree. Without failure, it's not possible to succeed.
Totally.
So, what does a day in your life look like, and how do you juggle work and everything else?
So I've got a phenomenal team. Number one, it's a mix of order and chaos. I prefer order. That's my hard wiring. I naturally prefer sequence, order, and focus. But for a business, especially a client-based business, client service-based business, that's not necessarily realistic. So there's this phenomenal guy, Tony, on my team. So Tony and Shelly, they just make sure there's as much order as possible for me. So Shelly does a great job of absorbing any problems, solving the majority of them, if not all of them, in advance. And then her and Tony will work together, and then Tony schedules everything for me. So that way, when I literally, my goal for the longest time was like, I just want to wake up and I want to play the role that I serve the team the most and our clients the most. And I want to wake up and I want to look at my calendar. I kid you not, I have no clue what's on my calendar every single week. I open it up on Sunday and say, oh, okay, cool. That's what I have to do. I'm the captain of the team. This is different than the coach. The captain actually plays. And I never want to stop being that. I want to be on the floor with the athletes, period. So now Tony, his role is to schedule everything for me. So it's like, all right, cool. Those are the plays that I've got to run. Now, that's the order. The chaos is what happens. Sometimes I don't go to the restroom to pee because I know that as soon as I walk out of my door, the 12 people, I'm going to have to bob and weave through the 12 people because the amount of, hey, do you got a minute? And it's never a minute. I've got to
Right.
absorb those questions in real time. So that's the chaos. But it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great blend.
Yeah. It keeps you on your toes.
Yep.
Has there been a book, a podcast, or someone that's really changed your outlook or approach?
Please Understand Me Too and How to Run Friends and Influence People. Those are the two biggest books that I recommend to anybody. Please Understand Me Too is probably the best personality book I've ever read. It's super in depth. It's very dense. It helped me feel comfortable in my own skin. It also helped me understand other people. I reread that book, at least to a certain degree, once a year. And then How to Win Friends and Influence People, I've reread several times. I actually need to do it again. That book is just still just as true, if not more, in today's world than it was however long it got written, 60 years ago or whatever the number is.
Sure. So, how do you tackle learning new things, especially stuff that's way outside of your comfort zone?
So learning, I'm very fortunate because learning is in my personality type. So I'm an INTP. So the two middle letters there, NT. I just have a perpetual curiosity. So I'd be lying if I didn't say it. I'm just intrinsically motivated to learn. So I'm trying to learn as much as possible every single day. And I'm not using any motivation to do it because I enjoy it. So podcasts, audiobooks, reading, etc., writing and journaling, I'm doing literally every day, probably 10 times a day. Right. So literally, if I've got to go to my car, there's never a time that I can recall where I'm walking to my car or in the shower or making my tea in the morning where I'm not listening to something that's educational. And that really accumulates over time.
Can you share a personal habit or routine that significantly contributed to your professional success?
That one, number one. So having micro learning in running in parallel to doing, you can instantly use the stuff. This is way different than college. I went to college as well, but right, it's, hey, how about you don't act and you take a pause for 4 years and you just learn? I think that's garbage. I think it's an outdated model. Versus let's act and then learn every single 10 times a day. So then, and by the way, then you can customize your learning. Oh, shoot. I didn't get that sales pitch right. What did I do wrong? Okay, cool. Let me look up some stuff on sales and what did I miss? I'll read this book, Influenced by Robert Cialdini, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now I can do that so I can course correct immediately. So that's by far, that's the number one thing.
Okay. So it sounds like things are going well for you and your business. As you're looking forward towards the future, I'm wondering if or how you create passive income, or if you're obviously in finance. So what are some sources of passive income that are your go-tos?
Yeah, this might put an egg on this, but I think for me, I don't think about passive income at all. Zero. I don't. The business is doing outstandingly well. You could argue that to me, that's not passive income, right? Now, if I were to leave, would the machine still run? Absolutely. But would I want to? No. By the way, I'm technically in some version of the retirement business. I will never retire. I don't want to. I actually philosophically disagree with it. I think a man, especially if he can still use his hands or his brain to produce value for humans, then he should do that. Now, I also think that getting money in exchange puts skin in the game. So I never want to stop doing. I never want to retire ever. And people are like, "Oh, yes, you do." I was like, no, I do not. I do not want to retire ever. So yeah, and I just bought a rental property and so on. But again, these are just things because there's surplus capital, and rather than just having that surplus capital stagnate, I invest literally every single week, multiple times a week in stocks. So I do all of that, and then I just don't look at it. Like I want to get back to the game of producing value for other humans, and I want to be the best in our industry. Literally, that's my goal. And that's what I focus on. And I oftentimes say that wealth is what accumulates when you're in the process of creating value for others. So you're almost not even paying attention to it. But it's the people, in
Right.
my opinion, what I've noticed is if you did, it's like watching vegetables grow. I saw this great picture one time. It was this little kid like ripping the carrots out of the ground before they're ready. He's like, why are they not growing? And then putting them back. Yeah, because you keep on messing with it. Go and plant
Right.
more seeds, right? And let this do its thing.
So as we're wrapping up our interview, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have in the works for the next 6 to 12 months?
Conor McGregor had a great quote, which was, "We're not here to take part, we're here to take over." So I'm super competitive. And I say this in a healthy way, right? Like,
Of course.
I want our firm to be the best in the industry, period, by serving the most people in the best possible way. I get excited when I hear a problem with our firm or the client complains about something or says, "Hey, yeah, I wish you would have done this a little bit better." Great. We're going to patch that hole. And then rinse and repeat, just being absolutely obsessed with honestly, and this is going to sound wrong to a certain amount of people, just obsessed with perfection. And I don't care
Yeah.
who tells me, oh, that's not healthy. Okay, that's your opinion. That's fine. We have different opinions. I want us to be
Sure.
perfect.
It's great. Thank you so much for taking the time today and sharing some insights and tips. If people would like to connect with you and need help with your services, how does one reach you?
Two different ways. You can go on my Instagram. It's wes.rowlands, WES.ROWLANDS. And then if they ever want to go on our website, it's atticanwealthpartners.com. And my goofy pictures on there along with the rest of our awesome team.
That's great. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I enjoyed chatting with you.
Hey, right back at you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next time. And if you want to get a hold of Wes, those are the two ways to get a hold of him, through his Instagram or his website. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.